first article is first batch is going to be on the technical side, and the rest is going to be, well, technically one of them is technical side still, but that's for the end. One of them's so NVIDIA 5090 GPUs are getting way more expensive, and it's only going to get worse. It's an article written by Aaron McKinley. So we're gonna read. Anyone hoping to upgrade their PC may be in for a rough ride, as prices for NVIDIA 5090 GPUs have skyrocketed. The RTX 50 series graphics cards have never been cheap, but even their sky-high retail pricing looks affordable compared to where they're heading now amid the global RAM shortage. It's a tough time for PC gaming, and it doesn't look like things will let up anytime soon. If you haven't been aware, for me, I haven't been aware until I actually did like a small dose of research. There is a RAM shortage. Like I said, I only did a short batch of research. I don't really know what the in-depth issue is. I don't know why it's like that. It's not like when it was pandemic time, I could tell you for an hour why we were having a GPU crisis. We were having just any technological crisis where things were short. PS5, like I didn't get a PS5 until a year after it came out. So I can say, but right now, I will do more research after the stream about why there's a RAM shortage. But let's continue the article. NVIDIA unveiled the 50 series lineup early last year, and as one should expect, the fastest consumer GPU on the market. The most powerful of the bunch came with an eye-watering price tag. The RTX 5090 has an MSRP of $2,000. Yeah. You see, like I said at the start, I don't know if I said at the start, we are going blind in these articles, so you are getting you're getting like authentic reactions. I'm telling you right now, it cost me $1,000 to build this big boy right here. If you think I'm spending $2,000, I would have to. I was of the philosophy: if you can buy it 4 times over, get it. I cannot buy this thing 4 times over. Yep, not for me. Not for me. My wallet would be jumping me in the middle of the night. But MSRP of 2,000, making this one component roughly the same price as 2 PS5 consoles. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Because, well, to be fair, they did say they were jumping the prices up because of the tariffs and stuff like that. So they could be right. Let's see how much a console costs. Buy one. Did it say PlayStation Pro? Because if it says PlayStation Pro, then I'll say you might have a case. Yeah, don't let this article ever lie to me again. That's 14. Well, hold on. If you had tax, well, let's see how much it is with tax. Because then they might be cooking with this article if it we go to tax. Oh, I might enter all that. Yeah, you got me jacked up. Yeah. So I have a point. If you buy PlayStation Pro, yeah, if you buy 2 PlayStation Pros, but if you buy like the $300 one, that's a lot of money, but it does afford those who can buy one whopping 32 gigabyte of DDR7 VRAM. Unfortunately, that memory is now facing a global supply constraint, so things are quickly getting even more expensive. Jesus. Save your money, people. Save your money. I'm telling you right now. Save your money. When I get a spoiler, we're playing Expedition 33, and I'll tell you this. Let's go to my Xbox. Let's go watching Xbox. Ignore the name. But I played. Oh yeah, I played different games. Like you could tell, I started PC gaming like fairly recently. Well, I always had PC gaming. Like I played Football Manager on my laptop, stuff like that. Like actually like pushing the boundaries of my computer and like actually building one. But I played Outer Worlds 2. I have 11 hours. I'm still gonna beat it. I just started recently. I have graphics card, a GPU that was $300. AMD 9060, if I remember correctly, XT. I'm I'm fairly certain that's what it was. I'll be honest, I don't remember half the things I buy in this in my computer sometimes. It can run good graphics. I'm telling you right now, unless you are working for something that needs something that push this amount, you can be perfectly fine with like a graphics card that costs 300, 400. You'll be fine. It is not that big of a deal. I'll tell you right now. Let me not give you guys blank information about my computer. Let me actually tell you what I have. Let's see. Where is it? Oh, order history. So yeah, a Radeon RX 9060 XT, 16 gigabytes. That's what I have, and that was, how much was that? Oh, $451. But that was like with tax and, yeah, because the original price is $389 with tax and shipping, $451. And I'm very satisfied with what I have. Trust me, you do not need to spend $3,000. But let's read it. As spotted by video cards, the cheapest. The cheapest 5090 GPU currently listed among NVIDIA's feature retailers are sitting around 2,500, roughly 25% against MSRP. So against a, you can say against. However, many of these options are either out of stock or only who bought these? Hey, I'm telling you right now, if you bought this, if someone else out here, if someone else bought this, they better make a full in-depth video or a live stream showing off the capabilities of this thing. You better be pushing these graphics to the point where I feel like I can walk outside and see these, whatever you're showing me on screen, I better be able to see outside in real life. I'm telling you right now. The price surge comes on the heels of rumors that NVIDIA may cut 50 series GPU production to preserve dwindling DDR7 supplies. NVIDIA still hasn't confirmed whether it's actually implementing such a strategy, but fears over how the RAM shortage could impact availability have already caused retailers to raise prices in anticipation. So you're going to screw the consumer over for unknown reasons. Fair enough? Obviously, that's not fair enough. Next part, NVIDIA is not the only company showing massive price increases amid the ongoing RAM crisis. The trend started in late 2025, which that is true. I did hear speculations of RAM shortages. I ignored it. That's why I'm not well versed. I've actually paid attention to it because I'm telling you right, late 2025, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Wasn't focused on anything else besides that. But continue when consumers grade RAM kits tripled. Oh, let me tell something. What am I looking at? Okay, so we are at good volume. When consumers grade RAM kits tripled in price after SX Hynix and Samsung agreed to divert much of their memory production towards AI data centers. Sounds about right. See, that's why the title of the video. It's either AI or Ubisoft. The data centers, things worsened when Micron dropped out of consumer RAM altogether, and as the laws of supply and demand took hold, things inevitably tightened for manufacturers. Now companies like NVIDIA, which do not typically operate their own semiconductor fabs, but purchase I need competence to be able to read this. Components like RAM from outside suppliers face supply bottlenecks and higher production costs, ultimately leading to higher end user prices. Now, that could be an issue. It definitely is an issue now because prices are rising. If someone that is known for making RAM and high-end products like that just say, we're done. We had our fun in the sun. We're done. Figure it out on your own. That's not our business no more. It could have an effect. So, understandable there. But I guarantee you, it is not that cut and dry. It is not that black and white. It is gray. While it didn't take long for prices to jump up, it will most likely be a while before the market cools off as more people rush to buy GPUs and other PC components. It will further restrict the available supply. On the production side, it will also take a long time for manufacturers to catch up with current demand, as they need to build new specialized facilities to create more RAM. Those barriers are why Micron estimates the RAM crisis will last beyond 2026. That is not good. That's why if you already have your PC built, if you have a fairly new PC, I'd say, I'm not too versed in it, but from what people say, like if you have a PC that's built within the last like 3 to 5 years, you're good. You're good for now. Like it's not like urgent. Now unless your thing breaks down, then now we have a different conversation. But you're not in like strangle need like you have a PC that's 15 years old. You know what I'm saying? It's like phones. I just got a new phone. I just got the new iPhone. I had the iPhone from 5 years ago. That's how old that phone was. So trust me, and that thing worked perfectly fine. Where was I at? Those barriers are why. Oh, yeah. Let's refresh. As they need to build new specialized facilities to create RAM, those barriers are why Micron estimates the RAM crisis will last beyond 2026. And if AI-driven demands rises even more, it could stretch things out further. Of course, it's impossible to predict how exactly things will play out in the future, but things don't look great for PC gamers at the moment. Depending on how things proceed from the PC gamers, may not be alone in feeling the effects of the RAM shortage. It's rumored that Sony and Xbox may delay their next-gen consoles to release them to a lower price point rather than having to ask more for them to account for higher production costs. Those rumors are unconfirmed for now, as in any response from Nvidia. But with the market looking as volatile as it is, nothing is necessarily off the table. For now, PC gaming is not very affordable. It may not be for the time. Xbox and Sony, well, Xbox already has its own case about potentially stopping consoles as a whole. So that's one conversation I have. But Sony, I'm not against the idea of Sony pushing back a console if they make affordable pricing. I said pricing. But if it's not going to be affordable, yeah, you're going to have to wait for me, buddy. You better figure that out. Because first you got to get PS4 people packed up off the platform. I've seen many creators say this, and I agree. And there's one creator that I'd say leads the charge in the anti-PS4 people. Y'all need to let it go. I agree. TBH of Black Okage has spoken out against PS4 game, which with context he understands. We all understand. Pandemic happened, so things are different. Even now, with more expensive technology, even now. But I'm telling you right now, I'm talking about the average worker, the average adult, even the average like young adult, shoot, even close enough to a teenager. Like say a 17, 18-year-old. Let's do basic maths, right? So let's go back to PS5. PlayStation 5 prices, right? Let's go PS5. Whoops. Let's just do Best Buy, because most people, that's where people used to get the consoles from, Best Buy and stuff like that. Let's be respectful. Right? Let's say you buy a console. Let's say you get the digital edition. Actually, let's be fair. Let's say you get the terabyte edition. Let's do math. So let's just do without tax. $449.99. Let's divide that by 12. I'll say this: if you can't save $37 a month, that's not including tax, so it'll probably be a little more. So probably like $50 a month. And I'm not talking about the people that are struggling. I'm not talking about the people that don't work or people with disability. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the average everyday worker that has a livable salary. A livable salary. I'm not talking, because I'll even exclude college kids, because college kids, they can get it, because even like for me when I was in college, I could work and not worry about a single bill in my life, because my parents, obviously. So I could have said, like, give me like a month and a half and I could just buy a PS5. That's how it was working when I was in college. Like, give me a month and a half. Shoot, I had some people that had a good enough part-time job that give them the first 40 hours, bang out a PS5. So I'll say is if you can't save 30 or to 40 or even $50 a month on a livable salary, there is a problem. You do not want to change, and you do not want to be better, and that's fine to an extent. Some people are scared to change. Don't force people to change. That's not good. That's weird behavior too. Don't force people to change. But we have to be real. I want better graphics on my PS5 games. I want better quality on my PS5 games. And some of these games are being held back that I know can be better quality because PS4 people do not want to evolve. Y'all are holding me back. That's why I moved to PC. PC won't hold me back. Only money will. But I already got my PC. I spent that band. And I'm living perfectly fine. And I'll say this. I built this PC before I actually got a livable income. That should explain it. You can, I'm telling you right now, you can save up the $50 per month even on a not so comfortable living income. But that's also, I'm a unique circumstance. Like, I was lucky enough where my parents said, figure things out first. No pressure on you, figure things out first. So I was given that time. Obviously, I would say, I don't know how it is with everyone else, but I would say I'm a unique circumstance. You know, I have friends in the same category. Not saying I'm from a privileged background out there. Like, I'm not a privileged kid. I was just, my parents, when they were younger, struggled in their early years. So they didn't want to put that same burden onto me. So they said, you know, we're not going to pressure you. We're not going to basically like slam you down once you finish school to do these things. Like, we understand life was life. Even now with the job market, life is life. But it's not hard. Like, trust me. Even if you want to get it for the family, if you're with your missus, you have kids. You're like, hey, honey, or significant other. We're respectful of other people's backgrounds. We're just significant other. You can go, hey, I want to get our kids PS5 for Christmas or their birthday. I think it would be wise if we like every month just put $50 away. $50 away. Let's do 50 times 12. That would be $600. That would be enough to cover taxes and everything like that. Just be like, hey, let's do that. $50 a month, put it away. Just take it out the bank, just put it away randomly, just hide it somewhere. And then when Christmas time comes, take that money out, go to the store, buy the PS5, wrap it up, give them some Christmas Day. Yeah, it's that simple. It's that simple. If you want to take it further, where you can get them PS5 and some games, because that's how, if I was a parent, I would, and the console, I would prefer to give them the console and like 2 or 3 games, so he's not just spamming one game and getting bored of it quickly. You get paid twice in a week. Twice in a week. Ooh, I wish. You get paid twice in a month if you have the regular work. It's a bi-weekly paycheck. Let's do 50 times 2, 100. So that's $100 times 12. $1,200. You can build your kid a PC, sign him up for some subscription, like get him on Steam, play him some free games, or you just buy him a console, get him a whole bunch of games. That's another way. But that's just my opinion. My words are not gospel. I do not have the answers to everything. Fortunately, I don't have the answer to everything. I believe if I did have the answers to everything, it would stop me from growing as a person. Because I have no desire to learn or get better at something. That's why even now, even with this is my first time attempting this. If you've seen the past streams, I barely was able to talk about things. But today I'm very talkative. I'm about it. I'm about the talking. But that's it for this article. Next thing, AMD Ryzen 7 Let's restart that. Rewind. AMD Ryzen 7 9850X3D is now official. Article written by James Ratcliffe, published 2 days ago. The previous article published 6 days ago, if anyone wants to know. AMD AMD will soon have another gaming CPU in its repertoire as the tech giant has unveiled the Ryzen 7 9850X3D as its latest product. The upcoming Ryzen 7 9850X3D processor from AMD will have slightly higher specs than its predecessor, the Ryzen 7 9800X3D. Though its price and exact release date remains elusive as of this writing, AMD's upcoming processor will support existing AM5 motherboards, including the B850 and the X870E chipsets from manufacturers like Asus, ASRock, and MSI. I think it's ASRock or ASRock. I don't know how to pronounce it, to be honest. I'm learning things every day. Older chips like the B650 are also among AMD's list of supported motherboard platforms for the Ryzen 7 9850XD. However, users with older AMD 5 motherboards are encouraged to check their motherboard BIOS versions and see if any updates need to be made before upgrading to the 9850X3D. I gotta admit, when I built my PC, I tried building it, didn't work. Took it to Best Buy. They actually built it for me. But also what they did was, I gotta give it to the people that helped me out there. They're really nice people. First, they recommended me another company to go to actually like get this stuff built and stuff checked out. But they also, what's it called? They actually showed me like, if I ever come across like I need a BIOS update, like something's wrong with like my computer, how to actually go into the systems, figure things out. They actually were teaching me how to do these things. I even told them like, this is my first ever built PC, and they're like, it's your first build, so we're gonna give you like a small crash course on how to do these things. But this is interesting news. Whoever's actually out there looking for something like this, here's your chance to get a new processor. I don't need one so I can't even like say I'm gonna test it out and see how it is. I'm not even that kind of content creator. I do not ask you about tech like that. If you want a good recommended person, PC builder, that's how I figured out where to how to build my PC, like the pieces I would need. That was a good one. That's the only one I probably would recommend. Probably the only one I trust. So the channel is literally just called PC Builder, and then the ad is PC Builder channel. That is literally it. So let's continue. AMD reveals new Ryzen 7 9850X3D processor. During the 2026 edition of the Consumer Electronics Show CES in Las Vegas, AMD pulled back the curtain on the Ryzen 7 9850X3D processor. I'm not going to repeat that. The X3D will go on sale sometime in the first quarter of 2026. So anytime between now and soon. So there you go. Through a precise release date remains unclear. For specifications, the AMD Ryzen 7 is an 8-core CPU that is nearly identical to the predecessor, the Ryzen 7 9800. In most specs, the 9850 will have a 120 watt total power draw and base clock speed of 4.7 gigahertz. However, let's say per second, it just says gigahertz. However, the 9850X3D will have a higher boost clock speed of 5.6 gigahertz up to 400 megahertz from the 9080X3D's boost clock speed of 5.2 gigahertz. I'll be honest, there's still things I have to learn. Like there's word like if you ask me like the physics question, I'm not saying I'm a physicist. I just had to take the class. I can tell you like and like even taking a computer class, I can tell you like gigahertz, the basics of gigahertz and megahertz, and watts and all that stuff. But like you ask me like what that means in sense like the in-depth meaning of this, I'm gonna be able to tell you. But I do know this though. There's a chart for it. That's why I recommend people like PC Builder. He has it. I'm pretty sure he will already have an in-depth video about this right now. If I go to his YouTube right now, yep, right here. 2 days ago, AMD launches Ryzen 9850 3DX Massive FSR 4 game update. So yeah, he has a 1 second short of 6-minute video explaining the whole thing. I would recommend watching that. if you really want to go in depth to understand what exactly is going to be happening with that processor. Additionally, the 9080 XT 3D will come with an integrated Radeon GPU with 2 cores and will utilize AMD's patented 3D V-Cache technology to boost the performance in some games. AMD also listed some comparisons to one of its chief competitors, the Intel Core Ultra 9 285K processor. AMD claimed that the 9850 X3D would have up to 21% improved performance over the 22. Jesus, I can't pronounce words. I can't pronounce numbers. The 285K in modern titles like Battlefield 6 and Call of Duty Black Ops 7. So I'm not playing. I have Game Pass and I could play Black Ops. I have no desire to play Black Ops anymore or any Call of Duty. However, until Ryzen 7 908050 X3D is fully released and tested, consumers should take AMD's charts and comparisons with a fine grain of salt, which I'm glad the article says that, because just because they show us flashy numbers doesn't mean the flashy numbers are actually going to be flashy. Yes, I understand people lie, but numbers don't. But things can happen. Remember, life is always, time in life is always linear, so it's always moving, so you never know, anything could change. Because look, even so, the Ryzen will launch at a chaotic time. AMD processors are a marked improvement for gaming in most cases. Using them for standard tasks does come with some caveats. Users will not be able to overclock the Ryzen 9850 X3D, and the boost clock speeds of it are just 100 megahertz higher than the cheaper Ryzen 7 970X processor, which is currently priced at $329. You see, my point exactly. Like when we talked about the previous article, you don't need to buy $2,000 GPU. These are just as affordable for you. The price, look, it's like $329, given that the Ryzen 90 launched with the MSRP of $449. The 9850 could arrive at a slightly higher price point. Now, is it still gonna be pricey? Yes, but it's not $2,000. I'll tell you that much. It's not. You're not paying rent. You're not paying rent. AMD's upcoming processors will arrive amid a troubling time for PC gaming. Since fall 2025, the prices of DRAM has spiraled out of control due to ongoing supply shortage. Kits of DDR4 and DDR5 RAM have seen price increase as a result, with 2x16 gigabytes DDR5 RAM kits going from $90 to over $360 in just a few months. Good thing, I'm glad I got my PC at the time I did. The move has also affected the price of gaming consoles and AMD's custom Ryzen CPUs powering the PS5 and Xbox Series XS system. Series, was it XS? No, Series XS, yeah. With Xbox, I have the last Xbox console I owned was an Xbox 360. With Xbox eyeing another price increase on the current hardware, that's not good. The ongoing RAM shortage crisis may not be resolved anytime soon. While the prices of RAM and other PC components are on the rise, the launch of the Ryzen 9850 is proof that AMD is not giving up on the AM5 platform just yet. Between the launch of the 9080 and the Nvidia's potential relaunch of the GeForce RTX 3060 graphics card, the current generation of PC components is seeing a second life amid the ongoing crisis. Whether the Ryzen 7 9850 X3D succeeds despite the RAM crisis depends on how consumers react to its price and its comparative performance. Why did I pronounce performance like that? Performance. That is interesting. Which things you gotta look out for, and that's just unfortunately just how capitalist. Not, I wouldn't say capitalist. I wouldn't chalk it to that, because I don't know how genuine it is, but with everything going on right now, you still have to, like, as a company, you still have to make a profit. Now, unfortunately, that comes at the expense of the consumer, but you still have to make a profit to an extent. Now, me personally, I wouldn't want to strap my consumers for cash. I would try to find a middle ground. Hopefully, that's what they come up with, a middle ground, so you're not screwing over your longtime supporters and also new potential buyers. You don't want to do that either, because when you do that, You really alienate yourself to a small group, and that's how you start losing money. And then when you start losing money, people think, oh, we gotta get all this product out, so let's rise the prices, and it becomes a whole mess. But that's that for technology news. Let me open my blinds. I'm back in my chair, the throne. All right, what else? Next is Expedition 33. Devs comment on the approach to developing the studio's next game. Clair Obscure's Expedition 33 developer Sandfall Interactive won't chase fan expectations with its next game. A company official said as much in a recent interview while acknowledging that the upcoming project will benefit from Clair Obscure's E33 in more ways than one. Released last April. Let's restart. Released last April, Clair Obscure's Expedition 33 turned into one of 2025's defining hits, sweeping multiple award ceremonies and clearing 5 million sales in the first 6 months on the market. That is pretty good. I always like to see when a good game, even though I haven't played it yet, which we're going to do today, when a good game gets its rewards, it's always good for everyone. Because that means, most likely, hopefully, when products like that happen, it would make the person want to make better products and more passion projects. French developer Sandfall Interactive recently confirmed it has started preliminary work on its next title. Clair Obscure Expedition 33 devs want to keep following its instincts. In a new interview with Edge Magazine's Sandfall co-founder and chief operating officer Francois Maurice, if there's someone French that sees this, tell me how to pronounce these names. Concede that there is a little bit of pressure that the French studio is feeling following the immense success of Clair Obscure Expedition 33, which understandable. When you put a lot of work into a game and it actually does well, you gotta wipe that eyebrow of the sweat and be like, okay, let's see what we can do. However, he called it not so important, stressing that the team is adamant to keep doing things the way it did so far by taking time to explore ideas that excite them. Lead writer Jennifer Svedberg-Yen echoed that view, saying Sandfall will be being guided by our own personal tastes, symbolically calling the developers North Star. That is reassuring. Elaborating on this sentiment, Svedberg-Yen described herself as a bit of a people pleaser. That's concerning. It depends to an extent. Hold on, turn my mic. Suggesting that following her own advice may not always be easy now that Sandfall has millions of fans and is therefore facing significant expectations. At the same time, she made it clear that she understands the risk of compromising creative direction, noting she has seen too many books, TV shows, and other medias lose their identity by trying to please everyone. Self-awareness. I'll tell you one thing. One of the things I actually do like is when someone, an executive of an important company like gaming or any form of media, has self-awareness of themselves and tries to actually prevent that kind of thing from happening, like bad things are happening in terms of like creative direction. Maurice framed Sandfall's next project as building from a stronger starting line with more experienced and confident team. Both his and Svedberg-Yen's remarks largely align with the Sandfall CEO, Guillaume Broch, I hope I pronounced that correctly, recently said about the upcoming project, stating that Clair Obscure's Expedition 33 developer wants to make another artsy game. While not much is known about the project itself, Sandfall has previously signaled it wants to make a sequel that's still set in the same universe. The way Bruce explained it, Clair Obscure is the planned franchise name. Expedition 33 was merely one of the stories that the studio wanted to tell. Exactly what shape future stories will tell and how they will relate to Expedition 33 is still up in the air based on what the little Sandfall has shared to date. based on what Sandfall has shared to date, it is possible that Clear Obscure will end up being an anthology series, not unlike Final Fantasy, one of its main inspirations. I love when people explain where they got the inspiration from. Like for me, when I earlier in the stream, I explained where I got my inspiration from to do stuff like this. Well, a little bit. As time goes on, I'll talk about why I want to do stuff like that and what got me into this. That's neither here nor there. We need to trust our instincts and continue to trust the vision behind the studio. Beautiful. The Clear Obscure Expedition 33 developer recently signaled it was not planning to get much bigger anytime soon, while the game's tremendous success allowed its level of financial security that would make a significant expansion possible. Co-founder and lead programmer Tom Gillerman sees Sandfall's current team as just the right size for making an ambitious turn-based RPG, having said as much in an August 2025 interview. Given that plan and the fact that Clear Obscure's Expedition 33 took 5 to 6 years to develop. For people that don't know this, because I didn't find it out until someone else pointed out, Expedition 33 started off as a Reddit post. For people that do not know that, it started off as them posting on Reddit that we need people to help develop this game. And people responded. And now we have Expedition 33. Sandfall's next title may follow a similar timeline, potentially releasing around 2030 to 2031, well within the next console generation. Jeez. So yeah, we're gonna be here for a bit waiting for the next one. But it's promising to hear stuff like that. I prefer studios not to just eke out slop. I rather, even if you do eke out a game, I'd rather you produce a alright, even an average game, just an average game. If you want to do like just to hone your skills, or to say, hey guys, we're gonna do this, we're just gonna put out a game. It's not gonna be our big project, but just don't put high expectations for this. I'd rather you just be honest about that. But for them, it seems like they're just gonna take their time, put the bread in the oven, let the bread rise, and see what happens. On to the next article. This is unfortunate news for any Anthem fans. It's the end of the road for BioWare's ill-fated online co-op action title Anthem, as the game's servers are set to be unplugged on January 12, 2026. So that's 4 more days for you guys to be playing this, if there's anyone on it. Leading into EA's online publish, Anthem was a mixture of a third-person action with an online-only option world that was shared with other players. While it's propped up to be the next big BioWare game for EA, Anthem unfortunately was not able to live up to its lofty goals and now is set to be shut down for good. Shaking my head. Game preservation continues to be a hot topic within the community, with more and more online titles like Anthem at risk of being lost forever once the servers are shut down. In 2024, a movement known as Stop Killing Games took off, being established after Ubisoft's decision. Like I said, it's either AI or Ubisoft's decision to delist its online racing title, The Crew. The movement was able to generate a ton of awareness through a petition and even gain support from politicians like European Parliament Vice President Nikolai Stefanuta. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I'm sorry if I butchered the name. Vice President. With fans attempting to save Anthem in 2025 with the petition, the end has finally arrived for the online game. My thing is, as much as I like games to keep their servers up, but I understand it does cost money to keep these servers up, and if not, people are playing it. Like for example, reason why recently I got EA, like download the launcher. People still play Mass Effect 3's multiplayer game. That's because there's a committed community to it that like to play Mass Effect. Like Mass Effect's still a big franchise that makes money for them, so they had justification for doing it. What realistically is the justification you can make? Now, I'm open to being wrong, but in terms of a financial standpoint, like keeping a server up, what is the justification for keeping Anthem up? It was a failed project. And unfortunately, when you fail a project, you gotta cut the dead weight. Anthem shutdown date. Remember, January 26th is near for Anthem as EA plans to officially shut down the servers in just a few days on January 12th, 2026. Sadly, at this point, the game will be unplayable even to those who were hoping to explore offline, as Anthem is an online game, which I think that's an issue too. I think one of the things that should have gave offline play for people to play offline. I think more people would have not been opposed to keeping it, or because you don't need a server. I don't know if you need a server for offline play. I'm not too sure. Don't shoot me. Hope to explore offline as Anthem is an online game, so pulling the plug will officially shut down it forever. For those who are invested in game preservation, even for a little as divisive as Anthem, January 12th will be a prime example of what they're fighting for. Fair enough. Shutdown for the major AAA game like Anthem is ultimately an unglorious end to its life cycle, while BioWare established itself through huge franchises like Star Wars, The Republic, Mass Effect, like we mentioned, Dragon Age, which I think out of two of them, two of them do not need online play for. They were single player games. The studio, under the leadership of Casey Hudson, attempted to take a long swing with an all new IP known as Anthem. The live service online only title combined flight suits known as javelins that players could equip and build out with abilities while exploring an open world and taking on missions. Basically, be an Iron Man, because these outfits literally look like Iron Man suits. Unfortunately, Anthem didn't have the impact that EA and BioWare were hoping for. Anthem largely launched to mixed reviews, and while most people praised the flight and combat, the flawed title suffered from technical issues, repetitive missions, and shallow endgame activities, which made the experience feel largely unfinished. Attempts were made to improve the game's post-launch, along with the addition of seasonal content, though plans were abandoned only a few months later. However, that wasn't the end of the story. EA sought to reboot Anthem, placing BioWare Austin Studio director Christian Daly in charge of the small team progress. While seemingly slow with minimal updates to the public, ultimately lasted less than a year, as EA announced that all future work would be discontinued through the servers, though the servers would be supported for the foreseeable future until it was confirmed on they confirmed this very early, July 3rd, 2025, that the servers will be shut down officially January 12th, 2026. So, from what it means is that they say, you know what, let's give it one more crack. Let's not fully commit to dropping the project. Let's actually see if we can give it a revival. Let's give it to a small team, see some new faces, new ideas. Probably, that's what I'm assuming was talked about. Let's try to make it happen. And it just didn't happen. It was DOA when the game originally came out, and it was DOA when the game got handed to a new group to handle. And I didn't play as day one, so I don't know because I heard there was technical issues with this game. I wasn't there for that. There's some games that I played like months later or like a month later. I was not there for the technical issues, so I don't know what that was. But when I played it, I only played the run once, and once I played, I at least said, "Yeah, I don't want to play this again. I don't want to go back to all this." You're not saying it wasn't I'm not saying it wasn't fun gameplay, but it wasn't something like I'd be eager to hop back on and play again. But for now, fans only have a handful of days left to experience the game, as a heavily requested offline mode for Anthem isn't likely to happen anytime soon. If at all, it is unknown if EA will ever take another swing at this IP in a brand new game. Through many fans are hoping the company finds a way to utilize the flight mechanics of the javelins, which has constantly been one of the big highlights of Anthem since it launched. Now, I think they could do a game with that kind of mechanic. Yes. I think it would be something within the Anthem universe. No, I think Anthem was a blip in the moment. They saw it failed, and that was it. Like there's nothing more to it. Once that failed, it failed. Unfortunately, so I saw glimpses of the vision, but the vision got blurry at certain points, and I was like, yeah, I don't see what we're seeing. I don't see what you're seeing, and that's unfortunate. But some things just gotta pull the plug on. Video games. On to the next one. Yeah. Next is Steam charts don't measure fun. Splitgate dev chimes in after players express fear over PC launch numbers. Someone's a little scared of the truth. Yeah, I glanced. I skipped this part right here accidentally. About to start reading, and I got here. Let me highlight it for you. This is holding this back. Well, he was holding a lot of things back, but whoops, what the? I don't want to search up Michael Cripp. Oh, that's me again. Michael Cripp. No gang affiliation. 1047 Games has some thoughts regarding how Splitgate Arena Reloaded is faring on Steam, and it's got a message for fans. Steam charts don't measure fun. The Halo and Portal inspired FPS relaunched December 17th for PC, PS4 and 5, and Xbox Series X and S. After the studio chose to U-turn with an overall rework for Splitgate 2 back in July 2025, it was a move made amid layoffs at 1047 that saw both the sequel and its popular predecessor pulled offline, and the studio promised a return with big sweeping changes. Those changes seemingly failed to attract players, with just around 2,300 players logging in to play the free-to-play game on Steam at launch, and little more than 800 playing at the time of this piece's publication. The Splitgate community quickly drummed up debate about whether another disappointing launch could mean the future. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see this. Let's hop on Twitter real quick. Let's read this. Let's see some comments. That's jokes. Steam charts don't measure fun. They show one number on one platform at one given moment. They don't show the full picture or what it feels like to actually play, and they definitely don't compare the community that's actually helping shape the Arena Reloaded is becoming, including upcoming content like Arena Royale. Over the past 6 months, we rebuilt Splitgate from the ground up because believing in the game, our team and our community, the 1047, yeah, that's how I feel about that game when I played it. The 1047 team remains committed to delivering the best version of Splitgate possible. To our amazing community, thank you. Your feedback and passion have helped make Arena Reloaded better every day. And to everyone who hasn't played it yet, Arena Reloaded is free. The gameplay is the best it's ever been, and I'll say this. This is a cope. Because, like, look at the comments. This would have been fine. His statement would have been fine if this was the number currently. But I'll say this: when your game only has 800, I'll be nice. I'll say 800, even though it says 733. When your game only has 800, and that's a re-release, you came to fix the game. This comment says the best. Now let's look at all the games you guys bashed on Steam charts and then compare it to Splitgate. When your game that you took away and rebuilt in like a year time, when that's still the number, it's time to let the dream go. You just gotta chalk it up to we failed. That's it. You can fail. It is perfectly fine to fail at something. It is not the end of the world. It is not the end of the world to have failed and to try again. But being in denial about it and saying it's everyone's fault and not yours is crazy, because this game just wasn't it. It just didn't work. And that is it. And there's other studios that have released games that just didn't work and got it right the next time. I'm not gonna read this because he's already quoting. It's hard to separate Splitgate's Arena Reloaded launch player numbers from nearly 26,000 users who showed up for Splitgate 2, but 1047's targeted response does aim to remind players that the relaunch also came to consoles, and Epic Game Store metrics for those platforms aren't as openly available as they are in Steam, so it's unclear if interest is similarly quiet elsewhere. Regardless, the studio wants both veteran and potential players to know it's put work into Splitgate Arena, ready to launch. The problem is it's a show don't tell. Like, show me that you actually put work in. Don't tell me put work in. Now you can say release the game when you did things, but like, don't start spamming. Guys, give it a chance, guys. Well, if word of mouth is a powerful thing, content creators is a powerful thing. If your game is good, it will show. For example, Baldur's Gate 3, their work was good, and it showed. Once they won the game of the year, it showed when people said, you know what, I was wrong about this game, X, Y, Z. Yeah, read this part, that was his. Yeah, this part 2, we read that too in the tweet. Blah, 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 blah. That's it. Yeah, they're fighting a battle. The negative sentiments surrounding the relaunch effort, blah, blah, blah. Components expected to relaunch near future. Yeah, they gave. It was alright. It's alright, that's it. That's it. It ain't that deep. Don't get into your feelings about it. Don't get into your feelings about failing. That's what I tell everyone, even outside of, like, say for Splitgate situation, don't get in your feelings about failing. Life has failures in it, no matter what happens. You missed the bus, that's a failure. You got late to work, that's a failure. Like, everything has failures in it. It depends how you look at failure. Sometimes you gotta learn to just roll with the punches. Because at the end of the day, it's like, you only grow from your mistakes. Your past mistakes do not define your present self. It's about how you grow from your past mistakes. That did not mean to premium. Fort, yeah. But like, your past mistakes don't define your present self, but it's a matter of how you grow from your past mistakes that defines who you are as a person. That's why when you're coping and throwing tantrums online, it doesn't tell me you grow as a person. It tells me that you're just very immature and not emotionally intelligent about yourself, not trying to grandstand. Because I don't think that. I think people can develop that, or he can just be very passionate about it and doesn't want to hurt his because everyone has feelings, respectfully. He doesn't want to, like, he wants to defend his employees, the people that helped him create the game. So fair enough. It's a mixture thing. This I want to talk about. I saw this and I said, yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. We're gonna have conversations. There's gonna be conversations about this. Sony's new AI technology will just beat games for you. Sony was recently granted a patent for an AI generative ghost player for the World Intellectual Property Operations (WIPO). This Sony patent describes an AI-controlled character that would appear on screen to guide the player whenever they get stuck in a video game. Though this patent also describes a mode that sees the AI-controlled ghost complete entire sections of the game without any input from the player at all. Much like other big gaming companies like Microsoft and EA, Sony has been dipping its toes into the waters of AI more and more over the last few years. Sony AI, for instance, is an entire branch of the company. Did not know that. Solely dedicated to researching and developing new AI technologies for the company, and it's been around since April 2020. Yeah, they kept that under wraps. Well, for me. Sony patents AI ghost player technology. September 5th, 2024, Sony filed a patent for AI generated ghost player. This patent was officially approved and published by WIPO of April 17, 2025. Thanks to a report from tech site Boing Boing. That's crazy. Boing Boing on December 29, 2025. All eyes are on the patent once more. The official description Sony provides for this patent begins by explaining the reasoning behind the existence of such technology, with it claiming that developers control. Oh, I haven't done something on here. Hold on a minute. Hold on just a minute. Actually, let's finish this then. I'll do this while reading. Multitask. What's it called? Thanks to reports of tech Boing. Developer control ghost characters already existed, but they can only perform specific movements and actions. Um, Players, guide players, and the assistance they give is not tailored specifically for players' current issues. Sony's AI Ghost player, however, would hopefully, I said hopefully, but however, would theoretically offer assistance. Um, will offer blah, 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 will offer assistance for any problem the player is experiencing. It would do this by training itself by watching gameplay footage and then by watching the player's live gameplay to better understand the context surrounding the issues they're facing. I'll say this, I'll be honest. For how do I say this? I'll say this: if you are someone, they're gonna have to put something in the gameplay, because there is people that will backseat and talk crazy to you for how you play a game or how you do things. And I'll say this: if in a scenario where if I come across someone that tries to pull that over me and tries to go, oh, when I played it, this is how I did it, blah 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 blah, or blah, blah, you're doing it wrong, or you're not playing the game right, X, Y, and Z. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you to show your trophies to me. Immediately, I'm gonna say, show me your trophies, because I hope if Sony does do this, which most likely they're probably gonna do, they better put in the system where if you get a trophy from it, it better say AI assisted trophy. Because if it does that and you try to call me out saying I'm doing something wrong and I ask you for your trophy and it says that, you are getting called out. I'm not afraid to clown fake succeeders. I'm not afraid to call out the fakes. I'll be damned if I'm dying 20 times and some guy goes, well, you should have done this. And then when I pull up their trophies, it says, beat achieved with AI assistance. I'm gonna look at you like you're crazy. I'm gonna say, who are you to call me out? You needed assistance. You needed training wheels. I learned to ride my bike on my own. You needed training wheels to ride your bike. But we continue. AI controlled ghost characters would then assist the player in different ways depending on the mode they have chosen. One mode described in a patent filing would see the AI ghosts appear as an outline and move through the environment, showing the player how to proceed. Another described mode would show button inputs alongside the outline's actions. One described mode would be seen AI controlled ghost engaging in interactive conversations with the player. I'm telling you right now, if I'm doing speech checks with AI in this, yeah, you got it. If you try to convince me, yeah, if you try to tell me I'm doing something wrong and I see you did AI speech checks, yeah, get out of here. Once subscribable with, you even see the AI control. Nah, that's crazy. Now I'm thinking about that as the definition of, like, you ever seen those memes on like those posts on like Instagram or something where it goes, where the guy's texting the girl or the girl's texting the guy, and then you go, "What's taking you so long?" And they go, "My group chat hasn't responded yet." That's a prime example right there. That is it. When if you're doing, where is that? An AI ghost control engaging in interactive conversations with the player character to help guide. That is crazy. Sony's patent also describes a complete mode where the AI controlled character will actually complete the challenge and the players. What? Yeah, I'm baby mode. Anyone that says, like, anyone that tells me something and I see it says that, I'm calling you Gerber. You're a Gerber to me, a Gerber baby. Cause there's no way. While Sony's patent repeatedly refers to AI-controlled characters as a ghost or outline, the patent official description makes it clear the character could take on a range of forms. According to the document, the ghost could be simply a shadow, a fully animated character, a character from a movie. What the? Here's a generated character, even a figure from another game. Yeah, I'll be damned if I'm playing GTA stuck on a mission, and say I use AI and I have freaking Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War running up on the police are blasting people. Yeah, yeah, that's enough for me. Yeah, I definitely won't be using that unless like I make a video and like as jokes use it, but that's not for me. Have Levi from Attack on Titan in the next Spider-Man game swinging around, whooping on people. Of course, it should be noted that just because Sony has filed the patent doesn't mean it intends to use it. The patent has been active since April 2025, and Sony has made no official mention of any capacity. That said, it wouldn't be totally out of the realm possibilities for Sony to implement such a technology, with Microsoft having already developed a similar AI-based system. Yeah, some fraudulent gamers out there. Was basically how Microsoft rolled out theirs as well. Copilot. Yeah. 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 I'm I'm prepared to do that job. I will start calling out these people. Shout out to Boing Boing. I'm telling you right now, if someone starts boing boinging on me when I'm trying to beat a game and you're all over on my schmeat talking crazy, I'm calling you out if your trophy say AI. They better add that. Get these frauds out of here. On to the next article. I was about to get hot because of that. That was crazy. That's when we're gonna move on. Ubisoft shut down Assassin's Creed Rebellion developer Halifax Studio just weeks after it unionized. That is crazy. That is crazy. Ubisoft. That's basically like y'all thought you can step to me. Well, really, I got the ultimate power at the end of the day, and that's basically what they just did. That I didn't have to read it yet, and I guarantee that's what they did. Ubisoft has shut down its Halifax studio just weeks after 61 of its 71 workers voted to unionize. I'll tell you this. If I was in that voting process, I would want to figure out who those 10 people are. Because why wouldn't you want better for yourself? You see, that's people. That's a PS4 mentality. People don't want to change for the better. And that is it right there. The publisher shared this news in a statement on IGN today, confirming that 71 positions have been impacted and claiming this move was part of its wider 2-year effort company-wide to streamline operations, improve efficiency, and reduce costs. We are committed to supporting all impacted team members during this transition with resources including comprehensive severance packages and additional career assistance. What is happening to me? The company added, this comes 3 weeks after 61 of Ubisoft's Halifax employees voted to unionize with the Game and Media Workers Guild of Canada, which is itself part of the CWA, Communications Workers of America. In Canada, the union was officially certified 6 months after employees announced their intention to unionize, and after 74% of eligible employees consisting of producers, programmers, designers, artists, researchers, and testing voted in favor. It marked the first Ubisoft union in North America. Ubisoft has claimed that the closure of Ubisoft's Halifax is unrelated to the union and is instead part of a larger restructuring and cost-saving efforts. You know what that sounds like? Because when you're in a union, you can actually dictate. Because if you're not in a union, they can pay whatever. But when you're in a union, you have to get paid. You can get paid a certain amount. Like everyone gets like the same. They did not want to pay these people. That's basically what it was. They realized they had to pay more, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to pay. As well as declining. Now that is true. There's declining revenues, which will also be winding down operations as part of the decision. The publisher has been undergoing significant cuts, laying off employees in batches over the last few years, shutting down studios and canceling multiple projects amid a series of disappointing releases and falling revenues. Last year, Ubisoft turned outside the company for assistance, creating a new business entity to manage Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six with a 25% stake from Tencent. Isn't that the Chinese company? Isn't Tencent the Chinese company? Yeah, everyone's falling apart in that place. IGN reached out to Ubisoft workers of Canada, Halifax, CWA for comment and received the following. We're devastated that this is happening, especially so soon after we unionize. we're looking at all avenues to fight for the rights of our members. The issue is, they could fight. I do encourage you to fight because you about 71 people. That's a lot of I don't know how we're in situations. Obviously, that's 71 people. That's families to feed, people you have to take care of. Whether it's just non-serious situations like the average family or people with sicknesses. The issue is though, if they were to challenge this, I think Ubisoft would be able to win potentially, because all they have to show is their numbers this year and in general, and show that we don't make money like that no more, and we cannot afford 71 employees. So, ironically enough, 71 employees that we choose are the ones that unionize all of a sudden. Ubisoft Halifax began as a branch of Longtail Studios, which was founded in New York City, 2003, by Ubisoft co-founder Gerard Guillemot, which branches, as you can see, influence, which branches in Quebec, and Halifax, being added in years later, is best known for its work on the Rocksmith series, as well as various early mobile Nintendo DS games. In 2015, Ubisoft acquired Longtail and renamed it Ubisoft Halifax, putting it to work on mobile games such as Assassin's Creed Rebellion and Rainbow Six Mobile. 2 years ago, we told the story of the 2008-09 unionization drive that took place in Quebec Longtail Studio that was ultimately unsuccessful due to what our sources claim were fairly open union-busting efforts by its management, including mass layoffs attributed to economic conditions. Both Longtail and Halifax, Quebec, were ultimately folded into Ubisoft in subsequent years. Basically, what I just got out of that part was that Ubisoft really are scum when it comes to union. You mention the word union, they will do everything in their power. I guarantee you, if every Ubisoft employee said we're unionizing, I don't think it would be out of realm possibility Ubisoft will blow up the planet just to stop it from ever happening. That's how stingy they are with unionizing, and that right there is, if you were stopping unionizing since 2008, 2028 won't be any different, and we're in 2026, so that's 2 years from now. So, yeah, I don't believe Ubisoft is employee first company. I think if it really comes down to it, they will blow up the planet if all their employees said we are unionizing, and that's why. If you, I learned this lesson. Stop getting mad at game developers when games, like the team, when games don't go right. Learn the CEO's names. Learn who they are. Watch CEO of. I don't think there probably people in there anymore because you guys are getting blasted. CEO of Ubisoft. Call this man out. If you want your Assassin's Creed games to be better, call this man out. Send letters, go to press conference that he's in. Call this man out. Or another way, money is power. What these big corporate people do not want is their money to be messed with. So if you want to hurt them in their pockets too. Don't buy their games. If you do buy the games, don't buy microtransactions. But that's a whole different conversation because that's why I used to be a victim of that microtransactions, and I eventually grew up and said, I can just grind and get these things, and that's what I did. All right, that is enough for articles, serious topics. Now we're just gonna do some fun topics.